Chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Geeta. Moksha-Sannyasa Yoga, the Yoga of Liberation through the Renunciation of Action. Arjuna said, O mighty armed Krishna, I wish to understand the true nature of renunciation, sannyasa, and of the renounced order of life, tyaga, and the difference between the two, O Hrishikesha, O Keshava. The blessed Lord said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyasa. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyaga. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. O best of the Bharatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. All these activities should be performed without any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. But he who performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done, and renounces all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is of the nature of goodness, O Arjuna. The intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hates work that is inauspicious nor is attached to work that is auspicious, for he has no doubts about work. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to renounce all activities. But he who renounces the fruits of action is said to have truly renounced. For one who has not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. The place of action, the body, the performer, the soul, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the supersoul, these are the 5 factors of action. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. One who is free from the egoistic notion, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill. Nor is he bound by his actions. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the 3 factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer comprise the threefold basis of action. According to the 3 different modes of material nature, there are 3 kinds of knowledge, action, and performer of action. Now hear of them from me. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, is in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which a person sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity is in the mode of passion. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all-in-all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. That action which is regulated and performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results, is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion. That action performed in ignorance and delusion, without consideration of the future bondage or consequences, which inflicts injury and is impractical, is said to be in the mode of darkness. The worker who is free from all material attachments and false ego, who is enthusiastic, resolute, and indifferent to success or failure, is a worker in the mode of goodness. But that worker who is attached to the fruits of his work and who passionately wants to enjoy them, who is greedy, envious, impure, and moved by happiness and distress, is a worker in the mode of passion. That worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, deceitful, expert in insulting others, lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is a worker in the mode of ignorance. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the three kinds of understanding and determination according to the modes of material nature. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. And that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Parth, is in the mode of ignorance. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which in the beginning may be just like poison but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. There is no being existing, either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is free from these three modes born of material nature. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes, or chastiser of the enemy. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness, these are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Farming, cattle raising, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras there is labor and service to others. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. It is better to engage in one's own duty, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's duty and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. One who is self-controlled and unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfection, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the manner I shall now summarize. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when, by such devotion, one is fully conscious of me, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But, compelled by your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine, made of the material energy. O scion of Bharatha, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace, and the supreme and eternal abode. Thus, I have explained to you this knowledge that is more confidential than all other knowledge. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita serves as a grand culmination of the entire text, summarizing and integrating the key teachings of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. It is called Moksha-Sannyasa Yoga, focusing on the renunciation of action and the path to liberation. Krishna explains that renunciation, sannyasa, is not merely about giving up action but performing one's duties without attachment to the results. This is the essence of karma yoga, acting according to one's nature and responsibilities, while dedicating all outcomes to the Supreme. Krishna also describes the three modes of nature: goodness, sattva, passion, rajas, and ignorance, tamas, and how they influence human behavior, knowledge, action, and understanding. The qualities of these modes determine one's approach to work, lifestyle, and spiritual understanding. Krishna advises Arjuna to rise above these modes by practicing devotional service, bhakti yoga, which leads to the highest liberation. In the final verses, Krishna emphasizes the supreme importance of devotion. He instructs Arjuna to surrender to him completely, promising divine protection and eternal peace. Krishna's ultimate teaching is to always think of him, become his devotee, and dedicate oneself to him, which leads to eternal freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Krishna concludes by giving Arjuna the freedom to act according to his understanding but reassures him that surrendering to his divine will is the surest path to liberation. In response, Arjuna, enlightened by Krishna's teachings, declares that his confusion is gone, and he is ready to act according to Krishna's guidance. The chapter ends with Sanjay's narration to Dhritarashtra, expressing the glory of the Gita's divine discourse, which is capable of liberating anyone who truly understands and follows it. Thus, chapter 18 encapsulates the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, highlighting the path of selfless action, devotion, and surrender to the Supreme as the way to attain ultimate liberation, moksha.
Thank you to all our subscribers for your support. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like, share, and press the bell icon for all notifications. Your support keeps us going. Thanks for watching our channel.